This interleague series will wrap up on a Sunday afternoon from Phoenix, Arizona, as we welcome you to Chase Field. Today, the Houston Astros and the Arizona Diamondbacks play the rubber game of a three-game series. Astros winning Friday night 8-0. Diamondbacks walking it off yesterday 4-3. And today, Justin Verlander on the mound, looking to take 2 out of 3 for the Diamondbacks. He'll be opposed by a young pitcher for the Diamondbacks, Matt Cook. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another afternoon of Astros baseball. I'm Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. And Blummer, the Diamondbacks are off to the best start of the National League. And they've gone all the way through 10 series prior to this one without losing a series. It'll be nice for the Astros to be the first.
It'll be time for them to break this mess up out here in the West Coast. But the Astros need some offense to go with some good pitching. We didn't get it last night on either end.
Yeah, last night was a tough start for Charlie Morton, but today they hand the ball off to Justin Verlander.
Yeah, what an addition. That might be the mild understatement, seeing what he's done in this Astros uniform, including the postseason, in those 17 starts. Take a look down at the innings pitch. 118 and a third innings pitch in those 17 starts means he's getting deep in ball games, but then 143 punch-outs and only 21 walks in those 17 starts. He is doing masterful work. The number that doesn't make much sense is there on the bottom, under 5 hits per 9 innings that he goes out there, just in complete command. He's also one of the league leaders as far as first pitch strikes, up around 65% of the time. He will get ahead early with the fastball.
Pitching performance is powered by Kubota, and when Verlander's on the road, at least lately, he's been even better.
No, it's extremely good. 6 road starts, 6-0, .69 ERA. It doesn't matter where he's at. He loves pitching in this Astros uniform. He has proven that. Yet to take a regular season loss, but this guy's fantastic when that spin is going well. Last start, slider and curveball were highly effective against the Yankees.
Verlander and the Diamondbacks, that's our matchup today. When we come back, we'll talk a little pitching as Julian Morales will be joined by radio analyst Steve Sparks after this.
between the Astros and the D-backs, and down on the field now, Steve Sparks join us. He is a broadcaster for the Astros, but on the radio side, but also our pitching guru as well. Friday night, we got to see Garrett Cole put together a fabulous performance, 16 punch-outs, and the one-hitter. What stood out about his performance that night to you?
You know what, just how overpowering he was with all 3 pitches. I mean, he's got 4 pitches, but he only needed 3 that night. And to see his curveball come along and almost match his fastball and his slider, which have been so dominant already this year. The strikeouts against good hitters, the way he can just go upstairs with the 4-seam fastball, the slider command, and then the curveball the other day made things unfair.
And the way he was doing it too, sequencing something he said after the game. What does he mean by that?
You know what, he's talking about when I throw a certain pitch, you know, and he wants it to come out of the same window. He'll talk about tunneling, you know, having pitches look the same, whether it's a slider going outside that slows down a little bit as it gets to the plate, and then the fastball to come right after that pitch, it looks like it really accelerates. So he's starting to learn this stuff. There's a lot of conversations on the bench with Keuchel and Justin Verlander, and he's getting real excited about some new toys, you know, how to use his stuff.
Right, this starting rotation's been remarkable. We're 35 games in, and they're still getting it done at a very elite level. Right. Do you believe into the feeding off of each other? You mentioned they're talking to each other constantly. What are they saying to be able to go out and kind of one-up each other every night?
You know what, I've heard conversations, and particularly in spring training, back on those back bullpen mounds, and there's one thing that I'd never heard before in my life. And it's one thing is you want to keep your fingers on top of the ball when you throw a 4-seam fastball. And typically when I was going through my minor leagues and major leagues, everybody talked about being at 90 degrees with your arm to have the maximum leverage. But what these guys have figured out on their own, I believe, from all the cameras they can use, is that your arm's always going to pronate by the time you release the ball. And what happens is it goes outward as well. So they feel like to get in this maximum leverage position is to get their hand a little bit closer to the head, and by the time they pronate, when they release the ball, their fingers are right on top of the ball to get that really true 4-seam spin on their fastball. And you see Verlander and Garrett Cole, those guys, they get that high raid, the high ride on their fastball and the good true 4-seamer, and it's been dynamite.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to watch. Thanks so much for the insight there. We're going to see if Justin Verlander can go 5-0 today here in Phoenix. Astros going for the series win. We'll be back.
Phoenix last night, A.J. Pollock walked things off as the Diamondbacks won 4-3. But today, Justin Verlander brings the hardware to the mound, looking for the first series win against the Diamondbacks this year. Ready for baseball, Astros and Diamondbacks. The roof is closed on this Sunday as the Astros We'll have George Springer leading things off, and we're ready to go. Matt Cook, the right-hander on the mound, 27-year-old out of Iowa, delivers a first pitch up and in for a ball. It's 1-0. Springer's one guy who will definitely be disappointed to leave Arizona after this one. Not that he doesn't like San Francisco or Oakland. It's just that he has had so much success against the Diamondbacks in his career. There's a ball hit hard, but at the shortstop, Ahmed. And Springer is retired for the first out. Here's a look at how A.J. Hinch will line things up on this finale of the 3-game series. George Springer, followed by the birthday boy, Jose Altuve, turning 28. Carlos Correa is the shortstop. Josh Reddick in right. Alex Bregman plays third base and bats fifth. Brian McCann behind the plate. Day off for Yuli Gurriel. Marwin Gonzalez is at first. And Derek Fisher in left field. And Verlander will hit today in the National League ballpark. Here is Altuve, turning 28 on this day. And he swings to the first pitch and hits it softly to the right side, where Marte makes the play for out number 2. What about this starting pitcher, Blummer?
He's making his fifth appearance, fourth start, 1-0, 19 2/3 innings pitched now. 14 punch-outs, 7 walks. Last season in 2017, Baseball America said that he had the best command of any minor league pitcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Opponent batting average at 182. He's a high ground ball guy. Also, last outing got 8 outs via the ground ball.
Already 2 today. He faces Carlos Correa. Correa first pitch swinging. Astros in attack mode early in counts today. Starting defense presented by Xfinity. David Peralta, A.J. Pollock, and Steven Souza Jr. your outfield for the Diamondbacks. Daniel Descalso and Nick Ahmed on the left side. Ketel Marte and Paul Goldschmidt. And Alex Avila with a 2.94 catcher's ERA this year behind the plate. And he catches a strike there. Correa down in the hole, 0-2. Carlos, despite going 0 for 5 in last night's game, still has the best road batting average in the major leagues of .419. For 5, dipped his season average below 300. He starts the day at 298.
Cook's heater comes in there, 90 to 94 miles an hour. He will cut it every once in a while. Also has a changeup and a curveball.
Misses to Correa, 1-2. Astros losing last night 4-3. They trailed in that game 3-1, tied it up in the 8th inning before the Diamondbacks walked it off on a bases loaded hit in the bottom half of the 9th by A.J. Pollock. Correa into center field. Pollock on the move. The center fielder is there and puts it away for the final out of the inning. At Cook off to a 1-2-3 start. We head to the bottom half of the first. Houston Astros is Justin Verlander.
This guy's been pretty good. The Astros relying on him to come out here and break this string of series wins against the Arizona Diamondbacks. He has pitched a couple of times here at Chase Field. He's given up in each game 3 runs. But on the season, he has electric numbers in 47 2/3 innings, 62 strikeouts. The opponent batting average at 146, and on the road, we talked about it in that open, he is very good on the road.
Hasn't had a chance to face many of these Diamondbacks for a lot of at-bats in their career. Justin facing Arizona once every 3 years in the interleague rotation, but has pitched here at Chase Field the last 2 times through in 2014 and in 17. And now he'll face them for the 4th time overall, 3rd time here in Arizona. David Peralta leading things off for Arizona. He is having a nice series overall in the season, batting .333 against righties, .296 overall. Peralta was the one guy who did not strike out against Garrett Cole Friday. And in last night's game, he was on base 3 times with a walk and a couple of hits. He leads off for the Diamondbacks. Torey Lovullo, manager of the year in the National League last year, voted on by the Baseball Writers Association. And he lines it up this way: Peralta, Descalso, Goldschmidt the first 3, A.J. Pollock in the cleanup spot coming off a walk-off hit, Steven Souza Jr., Ketel Marte, Alex Avila, Nick Ahmed, and Matt Cook round out your Diamondbacks lineup. It's a Diamondbacks team that when they score 4 runs or more, they're almost unbeaten. They are 17-1. Says as much about Torey Lovullo's pitching staff as it does about his offense. Their pitching has been the best in the National League this year, and second to the Astros in the major leagues. Verlander starts off strong as he strikes out David Peralta. First batter he faces, and he's already has a strikeout.
Yeah, it'll be interesting as we look at our MD Anderson strike zone and where some of these fastballs are elevated in the zone. And the reason I say it's going to be interesting to watch what Justin Verlander does today is that he throws a fastball averaging close to 95 miles an hour, and that's where the real issue sets in for the Arizona Diamondbacks. They don't hit velocity very well. They are the worst in baseball at 173 against 94+ mile an hour.
We saw a little bit of that with Garrett Cole the other night, as he dominated this team with a 1-hit complete game shutout. Yesterday, not so much, even though Morton throws higher than 94, but that was more on Charlie than it was on the Diamondbacks offense.
Yeah, 94+ in the strike zone is highly effective. Outside of the zone, not so much.
Ball into center field, will drop in front of Springer for a base hit. Daniel Descalso with a 1-out single.
Lowest ERA in first 17 starts with any team since, yes, 1913. Over 100 years ago. We got to go back and figure out how good Justin Verlander is. And 3rd on this list at a 1.40 ERA in his first 17 starts with the Houston Astros.
And the crazy part is that's so incredible for that number to be as good as it is for 17 starts. And if you take just regular season starts, it's even better.
It's amazing.
12 regular season starts. He has a 1.10. He comes in leading the American League in ERA, leading an opponent's batting average, opponent's OPS. Second in strikeouts to his teammate Garrett Cole in the AL. Checks Descalso on first base. Justin makes his 200th career road start, coming in with 1,300 road innings. Descalso has not attempted a steal this season, but Verlander making sure he doesn't think about it here.
With your in-depth research, you mentioned that he is one of the guys that picks over quite a bit.
More than anybody in baseball the last couple of seasons. Reddick makes the play in right for out number 2.
But it's just interesting that he's picking over against Descalso, who doesn't have any attempts this year. And it kind of makes me wonder if he does that to just kind of mess with the hitter every once in a while, throw the hitter's rhythm off. just another possible attribute to give to Justin Verlander as far as the mental, psychological game too.
Earlier in his career, Justin had a lot of stolen bases when he was on the mound against him. And through the years, he's gotten better and better. And one of those ways is he's really good at altering his times to the plate, how long he holds. And then, of course, he does throw over a lot to first base. Here's A.J. Pollock. Pollock yesterday with that walk-off, second time in his career. Also back in 2014, May 26 against the Padres. Verlander misses with that fastball. He's got a young umpire behind the plate today, Roberto Ortiz. Not sure if Ortiz has ever been a home plate umpire for a bigger star in his young umpiring career than Justin Verlander. Ryan Gorman, the crew chief, over at first base. There's a slider for a swinging strike, 1-1. And we mentioned that with the young umpire, they get graded out the same whether it's a veteran making his 200th road start like Justin Verlander, or on the other side, Matt Cook making his 7th career start. But there is probably still a little something when you're the home plate umpire, knowing that it's Justin Verlander on the mound, and I'm going to be behind the dish today.
Yeah, and I wonder how much of it is knowing that you're calling a game for a guy who's putting up Hall of Fame type numbers, or is it, man, if I miss a pitch, this guy's going to air me out.
Or stare a hole through me.
Yeah. Then I've got A.J. Hinch over there waiting to come out here and chew on my ear, too.
That's a good start after the one-out single. Justin picks up a couple of strikeouts in the first inning as he gets A.J. Pollock to end the first. Baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Rooms to Go, where you get the lowest prices every day and delivery is fast and easy. And by Arctic, overbuilt, not overpriced. Second inning baseball from Chase Field, home of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks riding the best record in the National League starting today's play. And the Astros continue to be bunched up in the American League West. Percentage points behind the Angels and a half game ahead of the Seattle Mariners as Josh Reddick takes a called strike. It's not atypical for Reddick. He takes a lot of first pitches. He will only swing at about 1 out of every 10 first pitches he sees. And facing Cook for the first time. He takes the first two and has a 1-1 count. It'll be Reddick, Alex Bregman, and Brian McCann in the second inning. Cook misses. It's 2-1. That Cook originally selected by the New York Mets. Third round of the 2012 draft out of the University of Louisville. Reddick sends one high in the air. Playing a deep center is Pollock, so he has to come a long way to make that catch for out number one.
Third baseman, number 2, Alex Bregman.
I'll bring up Alex Bregman. Bregman hitting .304 his last 16 games, despite being 4 for 21 his last 7. Average riding at .254 to start today's play. Pitch misses to Bregman, 1-0. Diamondbacks were winners of their first 9 series of the year. And then earlier this week, they won on Monday and Tuesday, taking the first 2 out of 4 against the Dodgers before LA came back to win Wednesday, Thursday to split that series. So they are 9-0-1 in the series, in 2018 series this year. And today will be the deciding game in this one. The Astros would love to head out of town, taking 2 out of 3 from the best team in the National League record-wise. Pitch misses to Bregman. It's 2-1.
That was a cut fastball. That guy Garrett Cole telling everybody how easy the game of baseball is.
Inside to Bregman, 3-1. Alex leads the team with 22 walks. He's amongst the league leaders in that category. Fourth in the AL. That's hit hard to right center field. Pollock a long run, looking up, and this ball's gone. Home run, Alex Bregman, towards the pool in right field. And the Astros take a 1-0 lead. Bregman's first home run sets that Twin series back in April.
Great swing from Alex. He started hitting Oppo tacos. See a guy getting locked in, but he got himself a hitter's count. Didn't get too big on it. Really tried to emphasize going up the middle the other way with some of that pop he's got. Got a good pitch to do it on. That was beautiful.
Here's Brian McCann. He hits the ball hard, but in the shift, Ketel Marte is there. McCann runs back to the dugout with bat in hand as he hit a line drive, but he's out.
Pitch up out over the plate. That was great extension from Alex Bregman. Watch the barrel path to the baseball. Very direct. Once he gets to contact, again, the extension through it enables him to drive that ball out the other way. That was beautifully done.
Bregman's second of the year, both coming on the road. Now bring up Marwin Gonzalez. Marwin's sitting at 2 home runs this season as well, both coming as a left-hand hitter. 224 overall for Marwin, 227 as a lefty. Good start to this one for Alex Bregman, giving the Astros a 1-0 lead in the second inning. Cook making his 4th start of the year. That's the 3rd home run he's allowed as Marwin gets under this one to center field. Pollock puts it away for the final out of the inning. The Astros take the lead as Bregman hits a solo home run. Astros leading 1-0. Only hit of the game for Houston, a home run by Alex Bregman, and now Justin Verlander working with a lead heading to the bottom half of the second inning. Verlander 3-0 in his 3 career starts against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Won a game in 2011, 6-0. That was back at America Park in Detroit, and then his last 2 have been here, 4-3 and 7-3 victories. Pitch misses to Steven Souza Jr. to start the bottom half of the second inning. Souza Jr. just back off the DL, had a right pectoral strain, had missed most of the season. Thursday was his first game. And he is now 0 for 7 in a Diamondbacks uniform. Just acquired this spring training from Tampa Bay in a 3-team deal. Fastball up and in, it's 2-1. Got a strikeout of A.J. Pollock on the slider to end the first inning. Souza gets into one, but it's popped up. Got under it to left field, where Fisher waits. Derek playing left field today, and that's out number 1. Our best in Texas power pitch is presented by Ford.
Justin Verlander out there. The 4-seam fastball is a go-to pitch for him. It does plane out. It does have a little bit of quote-unquote rise, even though that's not realistic. But it's because of that high spin rate. He's able to pitch up in the zone, and I think Brent Strama is one guy that highly encourages that, especially when you can pump at 95 to 99 miles an hour like Justin Verlander can. He also sets it up by having some very good secondary pitches down in the zone.
It's almost like the changeup has gone away. The changeup we saw a little bit in the postseason.
He didn't throw it at all against the Yankees that last outing.
The cutters become non-existent, so it's pretty much 3 pitches, and that slider has really been an effective strikeout pitch, but the fastball usage has been the most of his career, and that number keeps going up. It's up to almost 62% of his pitches.
Spin rates since the StatCast era began in 2015. Over 2,500 RPM spin rate on that 4-seam fastball is highest in Major League Baseball.
Well, breaking ball popped into left. Fisher comes in and makes the play for out number 2. Look at Tel Marte retired. A couple of flyouts to left. And now Verlander, who is making his 393rd career start, faces the guy who has caught him more than anybody else in his career. Alex Avila has caught him 124 times. So he knows about those swings and misses with the fastball.
He's connected a couple times off JV too.
Kind of interesting, 3 hits and 2 home runs and 8 at-bats.
All or nothing. Modern day baseball.
Because of the 5 times he's been retired, 4 strikeouts. So these guys know each other. The next closest in terms of number of games caught, Pudge Rodriguez has caught Verlander 62 times. So Avila 2 times more than any other catcher in Verlander's career in terms of games caught. And he takes one outside. It's 1-1.
And getting back to that changeup conversation where he didn't throw it against the New York Yankees, he actually had a quote after the game saying that he felt extremely good about that curveball in that game. Might explain why he got away from a changeup, because the curveball and the slider were so effective he didn't need it.
Justin does a deep dive. There's a good curveball there into the numbers, and he knows last year the changeup hurt him in the regular season. Opponents hit 341 against him. Did better with it in the postseason, but when you have the numbers he has this year without using the changeup,
yeah,
he's good. We're good. It's hard to argue with what he's done so far in 2018. Avila calls time. Alex has the 4th highest strikeout percentage in baseball this year. Cole got him 3 times on Friday, and Justin misses there. It's 2-2.
Not sure if you could tell, but he shook off the changeup to go to the curveball.
Really?
Yeah. Kind of interesting. Brian McCann
says, what about the change?
Yeah, don't forget about me. Every once in a while, and left on left. I mean, right on left, you can have that little fade going away and then set up that slider, power slider down and in.
Called third strike. Avila goes down looking. Verlander has 3 strikeouts, and we're through 2 innings with the Astros leading 1-0.
I think that's what he wanted to set up. By HEB. Derek Fisher, in his last 7 games he's been out there, he's got 5 RBIs. Big hit last night with that double down the right field line. We like to see Derek Fisher be aggressive, hunt that heater. He's done a good job of barreling a couple of those up, had a couple of home runs at last homestand, driving in some runs. The fish is good when he's swinging.
You know, last year when he came up, we were marveling at his quality of ABs because he really battled and he took pitches that were close, but then he was usually swinging in the zone. We haven't seen that same aggressiveness within the zone. He's taken a lot of pitches for strikes this year.
Yes.
So it's good to see him take that first pitch and rocking it to right in last night's game.
Well, have an idea when you get in the box. You know, I understand taking some off speed if you're not looking for off speed early in the count, or if you are looking for off speed, taking the fastball. A lot of times it has to do with the hitter's mentality when he steps into that box. Am I guessing fastball, getting fastball, or am I sitting on something else and not being able to pull the trigger?
First pitch swing there.
And hopefully he was looking for the fastball and attacked. I had no problem with that.
He has struck out a number of times this year, and called third strikes have been an issue at times. So here he is back-to-back at bats, swinging at the first pitch. Now he's down to the count 0-2 as he takes that breaking ball first strike.
And we've heard, you know, guys like Jeff Bagwell, even myself, we hit off the fastball, which means that we are anticipating fastball adjusting to off-speed mistakes in the zone. Until you get to 2 strikes, then it's just full defense.
0-2 is not a fun count for anybody. It's now 1-2 as that pitch was low.
And that'll vary too when you face guys that have high tendencies. And just to take Lance McCullers as an example in a 3-2 count, sick curveball. You know, unless you have a guy that's 50-50, but if you've got a guy that's over 80%, go ahead and sell out for it.
Swing and a miss at the fastball. Fisher goes down for the first strikeout of the game for Matt Cook. What do you have for us, Julia?
Yeah, well, coming into this series, you know, it was all about, for these guys, staying within themselves, focusing on themselves, and even with facing a guy like today, someone they don't have a ton of history with, it was just stick to what we need to do at the plate, and that's swinging at pitches that we're supposed to be swinging at for these guys. And they did a good job of that the first day. Yesterday felt like they put themselves in a good position to maybe win that ball game. Fell short, but that was what this weekend was all about. Coming off a tough series against the Yankees, we're not happy with their at-bats there, so hopefully can carry on some of the things that they're hoping to do here today.
See if Justin Verlander can put that into play. Saw him discussing things with Alex Avila after that first swing. Avila didn't get to see Justin hit too much. In fact, he saw Justin start his career 0 for 26. And then he's 4 for his last 17, so he's picked it up since 2014.
Oh, he's in fuego.
Overall, that average below 100 at 4 for 43. Strikes out half the time, and he's down to the count 1-2 here. Justin knows Alex well enough. Maybe he can try and get a catcher's interference on him.
Either that or he's going to turn around and say, hey, I'm going to put one in your rib cage if you throw me a breaking ball right here.
Fastball, and he takes a first strike. So Cook picks up back-to-back strikeouts. 2 outs in the inning.
So far, Matt Cook is doing a good job of throwing strikes. A couple of punch outs in these last 2 hitters, but now second time around, see if he makes any adjustments against these Astros or if the Astros make adjustments against him. Also, in what Julia was saying about the individuality of a team sport like baseball, when you get in that box, those are your numbers. You're responsible for what's happening in that box. Good or bad, no matter how much information you've been given, ultimately those are your at-bats, and you need to treat them that way and respect them and have good ABs. Because AJ's always preached it. If we have 3 or 4 good ABs in one inning, they usually end up scoring runs.
Springer took the first one, misses the next one. It's 1-1. AJ took over as the Diamondbacks manager. At the time, the youngest manager in baseball. That was in 2009 on May the 8th. Was here in 2009, 2010. George grounded out his first time up, and he grounds one towards third. Took a little bit of a hop on Descalso, but he stays with it to retire Springer for the final out of the inning. 1-2 inning for Matt Cook.
To follow us on Twitter at ATT Sportsnet SW. We asked today, which team will win the National League pennant? Diamondbacks, we've gotten a good look at them the last couple of days. Los Angeles Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw, the last to go down with them on the 10-day DL. Or the Cardinals, maybe you can write in your own. We'd love to hear what you think. TK?
All right, Julia. It's been a tough stretch for the LA Dodgers, huh?
Poor Dodgers.
Justin Verlander back on the mound for the bottom of the third. So far, he's allowed just a single to Daniel Descalso. Astros only have 1 hit against Matt Cook, making his 6th start of his career. Alex Bregman, the lone hit one over the wall in right center field, not far from the pool. Verlander will face the number 8 hitter, Nick Ahmed, to start this inning. And Ahmed swings and misses. Ahmed 0 for 7 in this series. Ahmed, the pitcher Matt Cook, and then David Peralta. Verlander striking out 3 so far in the first 2 innings. And he's ahead of Ahmed 0-2. Randy Johnson, big unit, is watching this game right here. The lower level seats at Chase Field.
It's not taking pictures. Usually he's got a camera in his hands and he's down in that camera well taking pictures. He's on the list of first 17 starts and a lot of punch outs. 1999 with the Arizona Diamondbacks, 171 in those 17 starts.
He was also on a lot of the Garrett Cole lists. Most strikeouts first 6 or 7. Swing and a foul tip caught by McCann. That's another strikeout for Verlander. He now has 4, and that's 1 away in the 3rd.
Well, who knows what kind of strikeout numbers we're going to be seeing from Garrett Cole in 10 more starts if he keeps up this pace. Nice little north and south curveball from Justin Verlander, getting on top of that one and pulling that curtain shade closed to create that spin.
You know, JV's numbers are so good that it just makes what Garrett Cole does that much more impressive. I mean, 11.7 strikeouts per 9 for Verlander. We would normally be raving about that. And then Cole goes out and strikes out 11 in 5 of his first 7 starts.
Yeah.
Pitcher Matt Cook down to the count 0-2.
Back at that curveball, that Mattress Firm Supermo giving you an idea of how it comes out of the hand and how uncomfortable it can be to try and contact with that pitch. Oh my.
Not messing around with the pitcher. All fastballs to Matt Cook so far, and that last one he was late on. Thankfully there was a screen over the dugout.
Yeah, because that was coming in there hot.
Cook swings lefty even though he's a righty pitcher.
I think what they're trying to tell us is there's a lot of strikeouts in the building right now.
And now that Cook's gone back-to-back foul balls, does he have to drop a breaking ball on him now?
I think Cook has earned himself one, yes.
Okay.
JV said, you had a couple opportunities to swing and miss at the heater. Now I'm going to buckle you.
Doesn't want to waste any more bullets if he doesn't have to. Cook does have 1 hit in his career and 7 ABs, but he's also struck out 6 times and make that 7. Stay with the fastball, and he gets him for the 2nd out of the inning.
Come out to Minute Maid Park this Friday through Sunday when the Astros renew their rivalry with the Rangers in the Lone Star Series. For tickets, visit astros.com/tickets.
Astros come off this road trip. 6-gamer, 3 here, 3 in Oakland. Off day Thursday, then a series against the Rangers, then back on the road for a series with the Angels, and then back home again. Couple 3-game homestand and road trips back to back. Here's David Peralta swinging through the fastball. It's 0-1. Hitters are batting .151 this year against Verlander's fastball. That's 5th best in baseball. And he just powers one past him. It's 0-2.
High fastballs back to back to get ahead 0-2 on David Peralta. Sometimes I wonder when pitchers get in grooves if catchers actually need to even set up. These guys are so good and have such a good idea, like a Garrett Cole and a Justin Verlander, that they're just going to go out there and attack the spot they feel is necessary.
2 strikeouts and a fly ball to Derek Fisher. And that'll do it for the Diamondbacks. Verlander's retired 8 in a row. We are through 3 in a 1-0 Astros lead. apiece. Diamondbacks a single, Astros a home run. Houston leading 1-0 thanks to Alex Bregman, as Jose Altuve will lead things off. Altuve grounded out on the first pitch he saw on his birthday, as he bounced to second his first time up.
He's got to take a couple more pitches or get on base so we can give him some of that birthday love.
Might be surprised to learn that Altuve does not have a hit on his birthday since the 2014 season.
What?
Last year, AJ didn't play him. Used him as a pinch runner in a game.
What? Come on, AJ.
Didn't play him on his birthday. The year before, 0 for 4 on his birthday. The year before that, in 2015, 0 for 3. And today, he's 0 for 2 as he grounds one to short.
Get Out and Play is presented to you by Toyota. The most adorable human being in that Astros uniform is Jose Altuve. Hit or no hit, we're going to give him some love because we appreciate the way he plays the game. The longest tenured Astro broke in 2011 wearing that number 27 in blue and orange. It's been a joy ever since, and a lot of these celebrations give you an idea how much he loves the game and how much he loves winning.
How much he loves Carlos Correa.
He does. And he literally loves the guy pitching for the Astros today.
Yeah, there's a lot of love.
What I loved is how he gave the literally I love you to Justin Verlander and felt bad about it, and came back later and said, and had the team meeting and said, no, I literally love you guys too. He wants to spread that love, but today's his day. Happy birthday, Jose.
One on the count to Carlos Correa. And he foul tips one into the glove of Avila. Ball and 2 strikes. Correa flied out to center his first time up. Yeah, so Altuve overall now on his birthday is 3 for 17.
He hasn't given himself too many gifts on his birthday.
That ball is rocketed to left field, and that will be down for a hit and off the top of the wall. Carlos Correa into second base. His third hit of the series, all of them doubles. And he's there with 1 out in the 4th.
This is a great example of how, if Carlos Correa keeps trusting his hands, of how good he can actually be. This is a 2-strike count, and that barrel flew through the zone in a hurry. That ball was laced into left field. The reason that's nice to be able to have that ability is that you don't have to panic in a 2-strike count. You can sit on that fastball away, try and fend off some stuff, but he also has the quickness and awareness as a hitter to be able to pull the hands in and rake that down that left field line at 112 miles an hour.
Wow. Here's Josh Reddick, sends one to right. Souza on the move, and he will get there as Reddick is retired for the second out. Nice play in right field by Souza, and there's 2 away.
Souza moves pretty good out there in the outfield. Kind of take it for granted because he's a little bit more of a stocky build to him. But got a good jump on this one and tracked it down.
Josh saw that and he said, wow, I thought I had a hit. Last year, Souza Jr. had 5 5-star catches. Only Adam Engel of the White Sox with 6 had more 5-star catches. If you haven't followed along with our StatCast or Baseball Savant numbers this year, that's the top you can make. 25% chance of a catch on those or less, as Alex Bregman takes a ball 1-0. Bregman hit one out to right field his first time up. Bill's more right center, headed right towards the pool. Swing and a pop-up on the infield. Third baseman Descalso makes the call, and he puts it away. for the final out of the inning. Double by Correa. He is left on base. We head to the bottom of the fourth. Still 1-0.
By downloading the new AT&T Sportsnet app from iTunes or Google Play, or visit attsportsnet.com to stream on your computer. Log in with your cable account and you're all set. Available for those with AT&T Sportsnet in their TV subscription. Blackouts and territorial restrictions apply. TK?
All right, Julia, bottom half of the fourth inning. Only Diamondback to reach base. Leads off Daniel Descalso. Single to center his first time up. 2, 3, and 4 facing Justin Verlander the second time through. Verlander starts off Descalso with a strike. Justin continues to move up the list of active strikeout leaders, as his 5 today have put him past Bartolo Colon. CC Sabathia, the only active pitcher with more. Zach Greinke, you saw him last night in the top 5. Foul ball to play. It's 1-2.
And as far as stuff is concerned, I really feel that Justin Verlander is the only one that's really not having that regression at the age of 35. You know, King Felix, the velocity's changed. We saw Zach Greinke last night. Velocity has changed a little bit. He's highly effective and pitches extremely well. CC, these guys have all gone into pitching. There's still a power pitcher on there, and it's this guy.
That ball is really hit well to center field. Springer goes back and watches it bounce towards the wall. Descalso's at second. He makes the turn and he'll hold up with a leadoff double. 2 hits in the game allowed by Verlander, both by Descalso, as he doubles to center field to start the bottom of the fourth.
And the way you combat a guy with a 4-seam fastball and a high spin rate that planes out, watch him get on top of this baseball. The hand staying above it and then throwing the barrel through it and staying flat through the zone. That is not easy to do on a guy that's throwing in the mid to upper 90s up in the zone.
It's now 4 consecutive hits for Descalso in his career against Verlander. Overall 4 for 5. But you are absolutely on point with that comment about the active strikeout leaders. Everybody else has lost anywhere from 2 to 3 or not more miles per hour from their best heater.
It's amazing.
Verlander, if anything, has been going in the other direction.
Consistently in the mid 90s, averaging 95 on that fastball, but then the curveball and the slider to back it up.
Now faces Paul Goldschmidt.
Did you see Verlander's lips move right there? He said, wow. Last pitch was a strike, I guarantee you.
Roberto Ortiz, the young umpire, calling it a ball.
Oh, thanks, MD Anderson.
Ground ball towards the left side, meaning the runner can't advance. Correa makes the play. Goldschmidt retired for the first out of the 4th. It's been a tough stretch for Goldschmidt. The Astros are hoping it lasts just a couple more at bats.
Oh man, as a hitter, I hate seeing these numbers. 17 starts with any team. Justin Verlander at a 157 batting average against. My oh my.
Pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, may have had a bad bagel this morning, Skip. I got to take the day off.
You mentioned it right when we were starting our broadcast. Less than 5 hits per 9.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's pretty dominant. As he throws a strike to A.J. Pollock. Pollock struck out swinging his first time up. This guy was the National League Player of the Month for April, and having by far the best offensive season for the Diamondbacks. It's been an interesting middle of the order for the D-backs, because as hot as this guy has been, Goldschmidt, who has carried the team for all those years, has been kind of the opposite.
Yeah, you really want to keep it that way for the next 2 ABs, hopefully for Paul Goldschmidt, because it's uncommon. I believe now he's 0 for 19 in the month of May.
Oof.
But yeah, it's very uncommon. And it's not going to last. By the end of the season, we'll turn around and he'll have great numbers. He's just too good, too talented, too smart to be in a funk. But while these superstars are in funks, you want to go ahead and wear them out.
Descalso, the first runner for the Diamondbacks in scoring position after his leadoff double, and now it's 2-1 to Pollock. Verlander starting the rotation for the 8th time through. Astros in their 35th game yesterday, finally allowing their 100th run of the season. The 100th run came on the final run of the game when Pollock singled in the left field to walk it off. Every other team has allowed at least 110 runs. The Diamondbacks the next closest. In the American League, the next closest team is in the 120s. Pitch misses. It's 3-1 to Pollock. Boston's allowed 124 runs. That's the next closest.
Yeah, that's a pretty good pitch.
Low strike has not been given to Verlander in this at bat. Instead of 3 out of 4 strikes, it's been 3 out of 4 balls. Chasing the slider there. Counts 3-2. That's what he got him with the first time up.
Yeah, AJ was a little bit closer on this one. Not by much, but that punch out slider that he saw last time up, he missed by a good 1.5 feet. And it's deceptive. We talk about arm speed, and Justin Verlander has a violent action coming to home plate with that fastball and his curveball and slider. And if you're reacting to that arm motion, you have a tendency to be a little jumpy.
Goes back to it and does not get a chase as Pollock holds up and draws a walk. So first and second with 1 out.
It's a whole new ball game with RBI Baseball 18. RBI Baseball delivers and all new franchise mode and much more. RBI Baseball is available now. Learn more at rbigame.com. Rated for everyone.
Steven Souza Jr. the batter. 2 on and 1 out. Souza flied out to left his first time up. Sends this one in the air to right field. Reddick is there. Descalso tags, but just a bluff. Don't want to test the guy who already has 4 outfield assists. There's 2 away in the inning. You mentioned it on Friday, going with the cleaner look this trip.
Yeah, tighten things up. Got the ears lowered.
Here's Ketel Marte. He flied out to left his first time up. Verlander has 5 strikeouts, but Marte is a tough guy to get on strikes. He has a 90% contact rate, second best in the major leagues. An inning better as a righty than a lefty this year. 283 right-handed, 167 left-handed coming in. Verlander had only allowed 1 hit to a lefty hitter in his last 4 starts, but today Descalso has 2 hits against him. He had that average at .028 for lefties in the last 4. There's a strike called. It's 1-1.
Coming into this game, left-handed hitters against Verlander, .086 as far as batting average.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Which makes what Descalso's done even that much more impressive. Only 2 hits today from that guy right there. On first base is Pollock, 2 outs. Verlander trying to work through the 4th. He's thrown the most pitches in this inning. It's a foul ball there. 1-2. Justin and McCann not quite on the same page. They will go out and have a little discussion here.
Yeah, I feel like it might have been a little bit of pitch, but a little bit of signs too, because when Brian McCann starts tapping his knee, his chest protector, and things like that, it might tell him that he's trying to mix up the sequence. And I'm not too sure Justin and Brian were sure what they were going to in that sequence, so just a quick little jog out there to make sure they're on the same page, because last thing you want to do is get crossed up by a guy throwing 95 plus.
Just fouled down the third baseline. Marte a late swing to stay alive. Verlander has finished off the first 3 innings with a strikeout. Actually, last inning he was getting Peralta to fly out after a couple of strikeouts. He has 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 strikeouts in the third. And not picked up a strikeout yet in this inning. Until now, he gets Marte. Foul tip caught by McCann. That's 6 strikeouts for Verlander through 4. He strands a couple. It's still 1-0 Astros. to you by Ram. Hurry in and get a great deal during the Ram Spring Sales event.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
And by Shoppish John Deere, your local John Deere dealer with 8 area locations. Astros leading 1-0 as we head to the 5th inning. Only 2 hits apiece. Astros a home run from Alex Bregman and a double from Carlos Correa. Daniel Descalso has both hits for the Diamondbacks. It'll be Brian McCann to lead things off, 6, 7, and 8 in the Astros lineup. McCann lined out to the second baseman Marte, his first time up. Swings to the first pitch and sends one high in the air to center field. A.J. Pollock makes the play for out number 1. Matt Cook's done a pretty good job so far. He's retired 13 of the 15 batters he has faced. For the most part, he has been staying ahead of the count. Thrown 54 pitches, 38 for strikes as he faces Marwin Gonzalez. Cook's 3 starts. He has gone 6, 6, and 5 innings. Starts a strike to Marwin to begin this at bat. Marwin flied out to center his first time up. Marwin thinks about a bunt towards third. Descalso can't barehand it. Marwin's going to be on first base. Saw Marwin bunt for a base hit in the last homestand, and now he gets one here.
Get hits any way you can. It's nice when you have the ability to lay down some pretty good bunts and force the defense to make a play like Marwin just did to Descalso. He went with the bare hand option and couldn't do it.
Close that hand before the ball ever.
But he stuffed it into the turf a little early.
Here's Derek Fisher batting with a runner on first base and 1 out. Fisher struck out swinging his first time up. Cook misses ball 1. Fisher with a pinch hit RBI double in last night's game to tie it at 3. This time he grounds one on the right side, bobbled by Marte. That'll allow Gonzalez to get to second base. Marte only having to play at first. And that's the second out of the inning. Bring the whole family out to Minute Maid Park for Kroger Family Sunday. Special Kroger Family 4-packs are available starting at only $70. For more information on next Sunday's Family 4-pack, visit astros.com/Sundays or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Here's Verlander. Mentioned Justin's at-bats have been better since 2014. Only has 1 RBI in his career in 44 at-bats and takes a breaking ball for a called strike. Justin was called out on strikes his first time up. Verlander, we know, is a very good golfer. Sometimes it translates over to a swing in baseball. Pitch misses outside. It's 1-1. 22 times he has struck out in his 44 career at bats. Chops one towards third. Verlander hustling. Descalso has no play. Infield hit for Justin Verlander. And the bench is fired up.
They're fired up because he walked back to the bag. I was watching Justin the entire way down the first baseline. He was running pretty good, but there's always that little hesitation as you see a pitcher busted out of the box. Not accustomed to it, but a perfect location again. Swinging bunt this time, very similar to what Marwin did. But Justin Verlander understands. He smelled that hit. The reactions are always the best.
The Correa running man reaction. I love that one. Swing and a miss. Springer misses the fastball. We'll see if George can make it pay off with the Verlander infield hit. Nothing else. It's adding more pitches to Matt Cook. We did not anticipate the one pitcher to struggle with hitting in this series being Garrett Cole. Charlie Morton with a hit in last night's game, and Justin with a hit today. Cole went 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts, but he did okay in the other area of the game.
Yeah, I think he was focused in other parts. And just reaffirmed the fact that he enjoys being in the American League.
Cole coming in had the best chance you would think of hitting of the trio, but it's proven the other way. George with a count of 1-1. George has hit a couple of firm ground balls today, even though he's 0 for 2.
Yeah, he's had high exit velos, just bad launch angles, but still getting the barrel of the baseball extremely good. It's a good sign. Got the barrel of the baseball pretty good yesterday. Going deep onto the walkway in left center field.
It doesn't matter who wears the Diamondbacks uniform, pitcher-wise. George has been able to do well against everybody through his career. This one he chops towards second, and Verlander will be forced. Didn't even make it halfway to second base, and that'll do it in the top half of the 5th inning. But Justin Verlander, little infield single. Carlos Correa broke out the same motion he used for Brian McCann.
To the bottom of the 5th, and AJ Hinch, a former Diamondbacks manager, knows Chase Field very well. In the last 4 years, we've seen it as well. But he said coming in, this is a fast outfield, and he needs his best outfielders out there. And so Shiner Box Spotlight's going to show us what those outfielders have been up to. We've seen some huge defensive plays right here on the road, including Josh Reddick. The first night with Garrett Cole on the mound. This team had a huge lead at that point, too. That's just the way Josh Reddick plays, going after that pop-up right there. And then George Springer helping out Charlie Morton, who had struggled in that game as well. Runs scored, but throwing out David Peralta before he got to second base right there was good for this club. Good for the defense, who've been playing well with the starting pitching doing what they are doing. They're trying to help them out in any way that they can. Guys, though, the outfield, is actually playing a little differently than AJ said coming in. He said in noticing the first couple of games, the grass is actually higher and thicker than years past, so not as fast. He used to be able to see when the ball would skid through, the sand would pop up, and not really seeing that anymore. And also the humidor. There's been chatter between the guys if it's evening up the playing field as far as the way that the ball kind of flies at this ballpark. AJ said there's not really that second gear that we're used to seeing in years past.
It just started going with the humidor as they do at Coors Field in Colorado, here at Chase Field in Arizona.
It's always about the pitchers, man. Strikeouts are up. Gosh. That was really good stuff. And, you know, I've said it, I believe it was yesterday, talking about this infield. It is a fast infield. It was a great ballpark to hit at for elevation reasons, for hitting background. The infield was quick. Like AJ was talking about, and Julia just mentioned, is that when that ball got to the outfield, you can shoot those gaps on a low line drive and run it all the way to the wall. It turns into doubles and triples. So it's interesting that they've made the adjustment.
Brian's going to go out and talk to Justin Verlander right away. You know, Verlander, even though he's making his 200th career road start, still hasn't been a hitter very often in his career, and he had to actually run one out in that last inning. So even though it's just 90 feet up the baseline and you're running full speed, it's different than your normal routine.
Yes.
Verlander took his time coming out. Even warming up, he was a little high with his warm-up, first couple of warm-up pitches, and now he has missed 3 times up in the zone to Alex Avila. Just a little different adrenaline rush as a hitter than what Justin is normally used to pitching in the American League his entire career. Avila is a very patient hitter. He looks at a lot of pitches and takes a 3-0 pitch for a strike. It's 3-1. He was a strikeout victim his first time up, one of 6 strikeouts for Verlander. Now the count's 3-2. It'll be Avila, Nick Ahmed, and the pitcher Matt Cook in the bottom half of the 5th. Ball misses inside, ball 4. Second walk issued by Justin. Also walked Pollock in the last inning, and Avila leadoff base runner. Ahmed struck out his first time up. Called strike. Two hits, 2 walks so far allowed by Verlander. Justin has bounced back and forth, home and road start, every game this season. There's another called strike. It's 0-2. Charlie Morton's pitched mostly at home. Alice Keuchel, Lance McCullers have pitched mostly on the road. And Verlander keeps alternating every other one. Breaking ball fouled away. It stays 0-2.
He's going to stay heavy on the sliders and curveballs to Nick Ahmed. If he keeps seeing that uncomfortable swing, punched him out of that first AB on that curveball. That'd be a good time just to try and sneak that fastball in the upper portion of the zone by him.
It's cool the other night when you tweeted out the picture of your scorebook after the Garrett Cole 16 strikeout game, and fans were interested to learn that you do put the pitches down with every strikeout.
Yeah, it's a good reference point for me just to understand what pitches he's using to get the strikeouts.
There is the curveball, slowly tapped towards short. Correa has to hurry, and he gets him by a stride. Ahmed retired on the play. Avila goes to second.
That was a great play all the way around. Ahmed runs pretty good. A lot of times right-handed hitters, when they go out in front of the plate and roll over that ground ball, almost get a head start going to first base. But Correa, again, doing a fantastic job all season long, moving to his left, his right, charging in. That's another zone factor when a guy is able to come in and make those plays like he just did. And the flexibility of his counterpart across at first base, too, with Marwin Gonzalez staying on the bag and making the catch. Again, try and get all this done in about 3.5 to 4 seconds. Make sure that out.
Now Verlander will face the pitcher, Matt Cook. Cook's around a bunt with a runner on second and 1 out and pops it into the crowd. Cook has the distinction of doing something that hasn't happened since 1947, and that is faced back-to-back pitchers who were MVPs. Clayton Kershaw his last time out. Justin Verlander today. White Sox Ed Lopat did it back in '47. Facing. That bunt is foul. Now it's 0-2. Would you keep the bunt on here with 2 strikes? In fact, Matt Cook's going to learn by going down and talking to Tony Perez-Chica.
Yeah, that's going to be the conversation. Leaning over casually as Perez-Chica saying, I don't envy you right now, but.
If the runner was on first with 1 out, it's an automatic bunt. The runner on second with 1 out, kind of a tweener play.
Yep.
Just because, yes, you're gaining 90 feet, but it's not like Verlander spikes a lot of pitches.
Or trying to bunt a curveball in this situation. My goodness.
He is around the bunt with 2 strikes. And he pops it up. McCann will make the play. Altuve covering, so they do get the runner to third. A little dangerous there as Avila had to hold up, but he bunted in a pretty good spot after he popped it up.
Good choice, take the sure out.
That's 2 outs, and now the top of the order, David Peralta. Peralta is struck out and fly to left. His numbers with runners in scoring position better than anybody else in baseball in 2018. Altuve's been the best in the American League, and Peralta's been the best in baseball at 563. Upstairs with a fastball, 2-1. 97 on that last heater. Justin at an even 70 pitches so far. Strike called, 2-2.
Wow, some gasoline. Down and away at 97.
Verlander dialing it up in this situation with a runner on third base and 2 outs. Swing and a miss. 3 straight at 97, getting Peralta to end the 5th. Verlander with 7 strikeouts, strands a runner on third. It's still 1-0 Houston.
At Minute Maid Park, celebrate the special women in your life with special events this weekend, including Pinot in the Park on Friday night, Floppy Summer Hat giveaway on Saturday, and Infinity Scarf giveaway on Sunday. Visit astros.com/promotions for tickets and info. TK.
All right, Julia, on we go to the 6th inning in a 1-0 game. 4 hits for the Astros, 2 hits for the Diamondbacks. Jose Altuve on birthday number 28, still looking for his first hit. A couple of ground outs so far. I was distracted as the big heads that race here at Arizona. The big head of Randy Johnson just walked right past the real Randy Johnson as Altuve takes a called strike. Altuve is grounded out to second and grounded out to short. They have a race here, as they do in many stadiums, but they use former players here. Luis Gonzalez, Mark Grace, Randy Johnson, Matt Williams.
League leaders are presented by Houston Methodist. Most hits among second basemen before turning the age of 28. Rogers Hornsby leading the way at 1,504. Roberto Alomar, 1,329. And Altuve 5 hits away from 1,300.
Called strike to Altuve. It's 2-2.
It's a Hall of Fame pace.
Yep. Only 2 hitters that wore Astros uniforms with more hits than Altuve before his 28th birthday. And not by a whole lot. So by the next year, Altuve might be first on that list as he bids for a hit here. And this ball is a fair ball in the corner. Altuve thinking about a triple. Altuve digging for third. Head first line. Safe. A triple on his birthday to start this 6th inning. He was flying around second.
He is not afraid to push it and try and make the exciting happen. Great placement down that right field line. Souza slipping a little, but the throw in was just airmailed over 2 cutoff men. But you're right, it seemed as soon as Altuve realized that was landing in fair territory, put his head down and said, I am going to get 3 bases out of this. Right about here. Yep, I'm going 3. Wow. That is moving.
Now the infield has to come in for Carlos Correa, and he's hit by a pitch. Correa right on the arm guard, the back left arm gets hit by a pitch.
Yeah, you just hope it gets that pad.
Fastball came in and got it.
Yeah, up and in, tailing fastball. That left elbow has the pad on it, thankfully. Just kind of eases the pain a little bit. Still a little jarring when you get a pitch up and in that area. First and third now. You said Altuve was flying, huh? 30.1 feet per second.
Serious?
Flying.
That's as fast as we've seen him, I think. That's elite territory.
Home to third in 11.5 seconds.
That is getting it done for Altuve. Here's Josh Reddick. Well, the two guys who wore Astros uniforms that had more hits before his 28th birthday were Rusty Staub and Cesar Cedeno. And Staub didn't have all those hits as an Astro, but still the only two that ever wore a Houston uniform with more hits before age 28 than Altuve. But those were only less than 10 hits ahead of him. So I think by next year we might be looking at the new leader. And if you're wondering about Craig Biggio, he really started to pick up all his hits like age 28 through 32, 33, where Bidge was making all-star teams every year. And
yep,
that's just the stretch that Altuve is hitting right now. First and third, nobody out. Infield halfway for the Diamondbacks with a 2-0 count to Josh Reddick. And Reddick fouls one at the plate.
Took a trip back in time. This is a pitch well off the plate. Altuve might have been sitting on that breaking ball and wanted to go get it. He starts with that stance open. He basically stepped on home plate almost to hit that baseball.
.30 feet.1.
Yes.
Per second.
He was faster from second to third than he was from first to second. He put his head down and took off.
Well, that's what you were saying as we watched the replay. He kind of determined after he got to first base, as he was heading to second, that this is going to be a possibility for a triple. Cool stuff.
Home to first, 4.68 seconds. Then first to second, 3.52, and second to third, 3.31. Changing gears, as they say.
Yeah, that's flying. 3.31 to go 90 feet. Reddick, after being ahead of the count 2-0, now even at 2 apiece. And he's able to lay off. It's 3-2.
Man was moving. Went out and got that, kind of trucking out there, knew it was going to be an easy double, but I think as he was peeking, he saw Souza slip and he said, I'm going to force the issue, and he sure did, accelerating into third base. At 5'6", he is a legitimate 5-tool player.
Yeah. Fun to watch.
Man.
He's got a little bit of that. Jordan kept his tongue out whenever he had a big play. He's got a little bit of that Jordan in it. The tongue comes out as he's running.
He does.
Just adds to how much you love watching this guy play.
Yeah.
Just another part of the adorable factor. He's on third, Correa on first. Reddick hanging in there 3-2, and he swings and misses. Cook able to get a big strikeout there for out number 1. Pitching coach Mike Butcher was on his way out to the mound, and then he stopped part of the way out there, getting some last-minute instructions from the manager, Torey Lovello. Part of this may be how to defend this situation with Bregman batting first and third, 1 out.
Yeah, you've got Altuve who could steal home easily if Correa takes off on the throw from the catcher to second base.
Also have to decide whether to play double play depth.
Well, that was yeah. That's the next thing, is where does the defense play up the middle? You can play your corners in, but you might want to play your middle infielders in that kind of tweener spot in between double play depth and all the way in.
Bregman will look to drive a pitch in this at bat. He hit one over the wall in right center field his first time up and then popped up to third. The infield is in close with the exception of Marte, who's kind of halfway at second. On the ground towards short. They're going to try and turn two, and they do. So a first and third no-out situation does not score a run in the inning. We head to the bottom half of the sixth. It's still 1-0 Astros. Example with his passionate playing style, George Springer helps reopen a baseball field. Will break down the art of robbing a home run, all that and more on Astros Bases Loaded Fridays before pregame and re-airing all week only on AT&T Sportsnet. Frustrating top half of this inning. Astros had runners on first and third and nobody out after the Altuve triple and the Correa hit by pitch, but they were unable to score. So Verlander carries that 1-0 lead to the bottom half of the sixth inning, facing the 2-3-4 hitters Daniel Descalso, Paul Goldschmidt, and A.J. Pollock. Descalso has 2 hits today and 4 consecutive hits against Verlander as he takes a called strike. Those are the only 2 hits allowed by Justin so far through 5 innings. He's also walked a couple, and he struck out 7. Slider breaks in for a strike, and Descalso down to the count 0-2. Descalso pitched in the first game of this series, 8-0 game in the 9th inning. Torey Lovullo going to his third baseman to get a couple of outs. Chops one foul at the plate. It's still 1-2. Seven of the 15 outs for Justin have been strikeouts. He does have 3 ground ball outs. The rest in the air. He's getting more fly ball outs this year than he has in the past. His ground ball rate of 29.4% is the 7th lowest in baseball. Pretty good hack at 97, stays 1-2. We have seen 97 more prevalently from Justin the last couple of innings.
Descalso's got those 2 hits for the Arizona Diamondbacks on fastballs up in the zone. That's the reason we've seen so many sliders and curveballs early in this count to Descalso to try to get him to 1-2. He tried to sneak the cheese past him and was unable to.
And it was a pretty good swing.
Yeah. For whatever reason, you're going to find guys that will see the baseball good out of guys even as good as Justin Verlander.
Inside 2-2.
Changeup.
Kind of yanked it a little bit.
Yeah, but he's pulling out all the stops to try and get Descalso out.
Is that his first changeup or second changeup?
Numero uno.
First. Might as well throw it to a guy who has the 2 hits. Comes back and misses inside, and it's 3-2.
Some crazy movement on that slider. Might be checking to see if Brian McCann's okay, because that one's pretty wicked.
McCann getting the start today, day game after a night game. AJ saying he got him out before 8 o'clock, so it wasn't a night game last night.
Timing is everything.
Right? Because he had told Brian in spring training, you know, I'm gonna try and give you some breaks this year after catching him basically every single inning of the World Series.
Yeah, there was physical fatigue and mental fatigue.
Ooh, you're not kidding. Another 3-2, and it's outside.
We've seen pitches up in that zone, part of the zone called by Roberto Ortiz, not this one though. See what our MD Anderson strike zone says about it.
Close, but doesn't get the call. Julia?
Here, there we go. There's Goldie coming up here. A lot of Houston people in the Houston area would know this name, the Woodlands High School grad, and went on great ball player for Texas State as well. Was talking about the guys that made an impact on him in his career, and one's his dad. They watched a ton of Astros ball games together and watched guys like Biggio and Bagwell, and his dad would remind him, you know, watch how Bagwell plays and his power, but he can also run the bases, and watch how Biggio plays, his grit, his hustle, gets hit by pitches and all of that. I mean, his game and the way he changed positions. There was a lot of things that Paul remembers about his childhood that he was taking from some of the greats that wore the Astros uniform for him. Also, another name he mentioned, Jeff Blum, said it was his locker mate back in 2011, and Paul said, I had my ups and downs, and I was constantly watching a guy that I used to watch in that Astros uniform, but now next to him, just seeing it up close, definitely took some things away. Very grateful for you and some of the other guys, some of the Astros greats, to play the game.
Thanks, Julia.
That's cool to hear.
It is.
And a lot of the life lessons his dad taught him were about the way guys reacted to things in the game of baseball. Not necessarily what the swing looked like or what the throwing motion was, but how guys acted on the field. And that was pretty cool to hear his interview with Julia.
He's a great human. He does a lot of things in the area here in Arizona. He's moved his family here, become a part of the community, but there's a lot of things that you won't hear about Paul Goldschmidt because he won't toot his own horn, so to speak, or brag about some of the things he's doing, and he won't invite the media along to go on some of these trips that he's actually going on when he's home here in Arizona. So he's a great guy to be around. He appreciates the game of baseball, and it was great to get to know him early on and still continue that friendship.
Another thing he said, guys, I mean, saying all the right things about Houston, too. His family's still in the Woodlands area. He's made Phoenix home. But watching last year, the devastation from Hurricane Harvey and how scary that was for him, felt awful not being able to be there, just like these Astros. I mean, Houston is home for him, and said, you know, I really appreciated and I respected the Houston Astros for what they did, rallying the city together. And for a guy to say that, who doesn't play for the same ball club, trying to win a World Series for himself, just really appreciating what the Astros did last year. Really meant a lot to him.
And one of the good guys in the game, he's going through a little stretch right now, but you wouldn't be able to tell. It's 2-1 to A.J. Pollock, and Pollock sends one into center field. Well hit. Springer back, still going back. It one hops against the fence. Coming in to score from third is Descalso. Heading to third is Pollock, and the throw hits him and bounds towards the dugout. Pollock's going to try and score. He is out at home plate. But we're going to get an interference call on Alex Bregman that's going to allow Descalso to score. It'll be a 2-1 Diamondbacks lead. Home plate umpire Roberto Ortiz goes over to third base to call the play, and he calls interference on Bregman to allow the run to score. 2-1 Diamondbacks.
That was a breaking ball that A.J. Pollock got into. He's having a heck of a start to this 2018 season. That was a laser over the head of George Springer. The initial run's going to score, and I think if Carlos Correa's throw doesn't hit the runner, that might be an out. But with the collision, Alex Bregman setting up for the play to catch and tag, and A.J. Pollock basically sliding in, and Bregman doesn't do much.
Wow. Where's he supposed to go on that play?
He can't, because A.J. Pollock slid past the bag. Alex was actually going for the baseball.
Not sure where Bregman's supposed to go on that play. I understand there was contact there, but
he didn't lay on him or
nope.
intentionally impede him from going.
That's a difficult call. That's a tough one to take, and AJ's going to lose a run because of it. It's not like you can go back and review it. That's just an umpire judgment call, and for the young umpire Roberto Ortiz, he said Bregman intentionally interfered with the progress of the runner Pollock. And here's another look, Blummer.
And just check the momentum of A.J. Pollock. Alex is trying to get out of the way right here. They collide. Alex isn't trying to impede him.
Oh, that's a bad call.
A.J. Pollock went into Alex Bregman for me.
That's a bad call.
Maybe this angle will be a little bit better to see that.
So he's jumping to try and get out of the way. He lands on him, and then he gets out of the way. That's a terrible call. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
Pollock initiates the contact on that angle. You can see it.
It's pretty bad.
That is a bad call by a young umpire. Cost the Astros a run and gives the Diamondbacks their first lead of the game. Wow. That last angle was the most egregious.
Yeah, you could really see that right elbow, right shoulder being kind of pushed into Alex.
Souza sends one to left. That'll be out number 2.
So the collision is made. Alex is moving to go get the baseball. Watch A.J. Pollock's right. Oh. Oh, I don't mean to laugh, but that is just amazing.
No, that's bad. That's a really bad call. Frustrating inning for the Astros. They had first and third, nobody out in the top half, didn't score a run. But their 4 and 5 hitters due up. And then this half, you get the walk to Descalso, who has reached base all 3 times, and then the ball that Pollock hit. Also on that play, it looked like George initially thought it was going to go way over his head and was going to play it off the wall. Then he decided he might have a chance, but couldn't quite get there, and the ball bounded all the way to the wall and ended up being a triple and an error.
Well, that's the other thing about playing in these high elevation ballparks like Colorado and Arizona, is that there's a little more hang time. That arc of the baseball is not what he's accustomed to down in Houston or some other ballparks that are below this elevation. There's a little extra carry, a little more of a ball flight when that ball is in the air, especially when it was hit as hard as A.J. Pollock hit it.
Well, Verlander has rebounded to get an out from Souza. Now he's 0-2 on Ketel Marte. Well, you hope that's not the game deciding run, because that was not a good call at all.
And how good has Justin been? Those are the first runs he's allowed on the road this season.
Wow. 1-2 the count to Marte, who struck out his last time up. Verlander has at least 1 strikeout every inning. So Pollock initiates the contact at third, and Bregman is charged with an interference for a run to score. It was a great recovery to throw the runner out at the plate, too.
Yeah, it was. That was the first baseman, Marwin Gonzalez, coming all the way across the diamond.
How about that? Because Verlander was backing up home, thinking there would be a play at the plate, and then the play was at third, and Marwin literally across the diamond to back it up to make the throw home in what should have been an out. 2-pitch misses. It's 3-2. Justin up to 91 now in the pitch count. Strike 3 called. Marte goes down for the second straight time. Verlander bounces back to get a couple of outs, but the Diamondbacks take the lead 2-1 heading to the 7th.
Fans at this time.
Grim Reaper, postseason hero, short stint with your Houston Astros. If you know the answer or you'd like to guess, you can send those to @ATT Sportsnet SW. 7th inning baseball, 2-1 in favor of the Diamondbacks. Ryan McCann will lead things off for the Astros. It'll be the 6, 7, 8 hitters: McCann, Marwin Gonzalez, Derek Fisher. If any of those guys reach base, Justin Verlander would be due up 4th, and the Astros do have bullpen action working. McCann is lined out to second and flied out to center. And the pitch misses for a ball. It's 1-0.
It's time for this offense to step up and pick up the pitching.
Yep.
I know we've said it a lot.
Matt Cook so far allowing 5 hits and a run to the Astros. Worked out of a 1st and 3rd no-out jam last inning. McCann drills one but drills it foul. He was able to get Josh Reddick to strike out for the 1st out, and then Alex Bregman hit into a double play. Bregman has accounted for the lone run with a home run. I think he and Dallas are still talking about that play from the last inning. Slowly chopped towards the mound. Cook has it. Underhand toss to first for the 1st out.
First baseman, Marwin Gonzalez.
I'll bring up Marwin.
There's no way to explain that play down at third base with Alex Bregman.
Interference, obstruction, not reviewable. Pollock reached out, made contact, and got the call. Marwin with a bunt single and 2 at bats. Takes a strike. Diamondbacks bullpen has been the best in baseball in 2018. And Yoshihisa Hirano, who we saw in last night's game warming up, and the lefty Jorge De La Rosa.
Well, you talked about it early in this series, how this Arizona Diamondbacks offense does just enough it's really the pitching staff that's gone out there and done a good job of winning these ball games for him, and that bullpen is a big part of it.
On the ground foul. It's 1-2.
And Torey Lovullo might be playing matchups the rest of the way because we're getting close to that third time through the order, and I'm not sure if Torey Lovullo wants to throw Cook out there much longer, even though he's been incredibly efficient. 76 pitches here, 1 out into the 7th.
Marwin hits one hard into right field. That's a base hit. Marwin will take the turn but hold up as Souza cuts it off in a hurry. Astros have a 1-out base runner in the 7th.
I wonder if this is a spot where they go left on left as we take a peek at Marwin taking a down and in slider. It's been a lot of off-speed pitches. Finally rakes one into that right field corner. Souza cuts it off and keep him at first base.
They are going to go left on left. It looks like Flummer. Good call. Torey Lovullo, the manager, out of the dugout, and he makes the motion to the bullpen. Keep in mind, AJ has some righties on the bench he can choose if he likes with Derek Fisher at the plate. We'll find out what happens when we come back. Matt Cook gets a nice hand from the home crowd.
Early on, it was Alex Bregman taking a fastball up and away and driving it into the pool area, putting that run on the board for the Houston Astros. And then with the runner on, A.J. Pollock, the player of the month in the National League in April, driving it Descalso. And then the controversial play ensues. Throw gets away after hitting Pollock. He is thrown out at home, but he is called safe after the home plate umpire moving to third base. Roberto Ortiz claims that it was interference on Alex Bregman.
This is a terrible call.
But upon review, there was a concerted effort on A.J. Pollock's part to go out and make contact with Alex Bregman, who's not even in the baseline.
The craziest part when we watched that replay is that Ortiz waited for that last contact. There was no obstruction call prior to that. And then that last contact that was initiated by Pollock is what he saw and determined was obstruction. That is a bad call, and right now the difference in the game. Yuli Gurriel will pinch hit for Derek Fisher. Facing the lefty De La Rosa, and he fouls one back. One out single by Marwin Gonzalez, and Matt Cook did a good job as he gives way to Jorge De La Rosa.
16th appearance for these Diamondbacks. Has a loss on that record, but still the numbers are pretty good otherwise, except for that walk rate in 11 1/3 innings. He's got 7 walks.
Yuli started the first 2 games of this series, and he has been hitting in this series. A 4-hit game his first game. That matched his career high. Added another hit yesterday. Yuli still looking for that first career pinch hit. This would be a good spot for it in a 2-1 game in the 7th. Evan Gattis is on deck to pinch hit for Justin Verlander. Inside, 2-1. Gattis came on as a pinch hitter in last night's game with 2 on and 2 outs and grounded out.
Still good velocity out of that left arm of De La Rosa, averaging close to 93 miles an hour with it.
Two and two the count. Throws a lot of splitters to right-hand hitters. 2-2 count. See what Yuli could do here. Astros down 2-1 in the 7th inning. Frustrating 6th inning as Gurriel grounds one down the line, knocked down by Descalso. He will not have a play anywhere. Astros have 2 on with 1 out.
Good job by Yuli getting the head out, trying to sneak that one down that third baseline. That was a pretty good stop by Descalso. Tough in between hop. That ball gets past him. Could have some issues down in that corner.
Pitch hitting for Justin Verlander, number 11.
With Evan Gattis announced as the pinch hitter, out of the dugout again comes Lovullo, and Torrey's going to make another pitching change. He had De La Rosa out there with Derek Fisher due up. Instead, he faced the righty pinch hitter Yuli Gurriel, and now De La Rosa will leave the game. And Gattis will face Yoshihisa Hirano when we come back. Another pitching change in the 7th in a 1-run game.
Earn 3 prizes for each game you attend.
Our clues were Grim Reaper, postseason hero, short stint, very short with the Astros. Did you know the answer to today's Name That Astro was Kurt Schilling? Traded to the Phillies by the Astros for Jason Grimsley, hence the Grim Reaper. 0-1 World Series MVP, 3-5 in 91 with the Astros. So Evan Gattis will come on as a pinch hitter. He'll now face the right-hand pitcher, Yoshihisa Hirano.
Hirano pitched yesterday, went an inning, gave up 2 runs, had issues with command. He's a fastball split guy, low 90s, and then goes to that split finger pretty frequently.
You may have seen Gattis talking to George as we were going to break. George said, see him up, get those pitches up, and the first one is outside and ball 1. Hirano had only walked 2 batters coming into his appearance last night and then walked 2 Astros. One of those 2 scored. The other run that scored was a double. Ryan McCann doubled and Jake Marisnick pinch ran for him and scored the run. tying and go-ahead runs on base. 1 out in the 7th inning of a 2-1 game. Justin Verlander out as he is being pinch hit for here by Gaddis. And Evan fouls one back. It's 1-1. Verlander can still be the winning pitcher today, but he needs the Astros to take the lead in this inning. Hirano spending his entire career in the Japanese Professional Baseball League, making his big league debut this year at age 34. Evan down the count 1-2.
Yep, get it up. So far we've seen him chase 2 fastballs up out of the zone.
1-2 the count. Sometimes the best advice doesn't always work out. Evan trying to snap an 0 for 9. He would love to come through with a big hit here. Instead he goes down swinging. That actually slipped out of his hand on that swing. That's the 2nd out.
And the pitch that George is referring to is the split finger. See the split finger up, therefore it falls back into the strike zone. But it's also, you've got to also have the discipline to try and lay off.
That left hand came completely off the bat in that swing.
Yeah, and he's not a batting glove guy, so relies a lot on the stickier substances on that on-deck circle.
Well, George is riding a 15-game hitting streak in his career against the Diamondbacks, but he's 0 for 3 today. Career .453 hitter against Arizona. And that ball gets away. Not far enough, though, for Marwin to advance. Play made by Avila to cover it up after it squirted to his left. 1-0 the count to George. Hirano was able to strike out Springer in last night's game with runners on 2nd and 3rd and 2 outs. George may have chased a pitch or 2 in that sequence. Didn't see him take that first one out of the zone for ball 1. Two and 0.
Good eye.
George hit a home run in last night's game over 440 feet. His team leading 7th home run of the year. That's a strike on the inside corner. 2-1.
And even in a 2-0 count, that's a good take. That was the split finger. If you're going to try and waffle something out of the ballpark, you want it to be a heater, not the pitcher's pitch.
Marwin on 2nd. Yuli on 1st. Gurriel with his first pinch hit of his career on the ground ball that was ruled a hit down the 3rd base side. And now George batting with 2 outs in a 1-run game. Big swing and a foul into the upper deck. It's 2-2.
Ooh, good pitch to hit out over the plate.
He wants that. Knows it. Yeah, he wants that one again. Hirano goes to a lot of splitters, especially against righties, especially with 2 strikes. In the air to right field, long run for Souza. It's drifting foul, and it is into the crowd. And a catch made there in the first row by an Astros fan. Still 2-2.
Good job by George protecting. He was a little bit late, probably because he was anticipating split finger.
Good battle going between Springer and Hirano. In the air, center field, shallow. In comes Pollock. He'll get there, and that'll do it for the Astros in the 7th inning. 2 men left on base for the 2nd inning in a row. And 2 men on base for the 2nd inning in a row, and the Astros fail to score. 7th inning stretch time here.
Brought to you by T-Mobile, and it was another good start for Justin Verlander, his 8th of the season, scattering just 3 hits over the 6, 8 punch-outs. Now has 70 through those first 8 starts. Just a couple of guys getting to him, like Descalso, and then Pollock there in the 6th. Verlander making his mark as a Houston Astro, but this starting rotation is even better because he's in it. You're hearing it from the guys who were in that rotation with him. Everyone's bouncing ideas off of each other. Garrett Cole, who had a brilliant night on Friday night, mentioned Justin's name more than once in the post-game opportunity for us to ask, why has this start been so good for you? And he kept saying, Justin and I talk about sequencing, and that's been huge for him this year. So a lot of these guys are looking at him for just ideas, and Justin's doing the same. He's looking right back at the other guys, and they're all working together. But definitely another good start for Justin to add to the books, TK. Yeah, really good one for him. It deserved better. He should be in a 1-1 game as he leaves. Instead, he's down 2-1. And good to see guys exchanging ideas throughout that starting 5 as Hector Rondon takes over in the bottom half of the 7th inning.
Saw a strong inning from Rondon the other day with that fastball slider mix. He was always highly effective when he's throwing that mid-90s fastball in the strike zone early. 12 punch outs in those 12 innings.
Pitch misses to Avila. It's 2-1. In the air to left center, Marwin has moved from first to left, and he'll get tested right away and makes the play for out number 1.
These two have been great. Some additions to that rotation. Justin Verlander at 4 starts, 3-0 with a .36 ERA on the road now. Garrett Cole in 3 starts is a .39. Highly effective pitchers in going out, taking command of their game, and we talked about the individuality of a team game like this. Those are 2 guys right there single-handedly taking care of their side of the baseball.
0.36 and 0.39. Unreal numbers.
And I don't care who you're facing as far as those guys pitching against other teams. They could be good teams, bad teams. Otherwise, they're still big league hitters. They're getting out at an alarming rate.
Swing and a miss. Nick Ahmed with a count of 1-1. People are wondering whether that second run against Verlander would be earned or unearned. Technically, when you have an obstruction call, it's an error on Bregman to allow the runner to go from third to home. And you have to play out the rest of the inning as if that error never occurred. So Steven Souza Jr. flied out to left. They did not determine that was deep enough to score the run. So the run will be unearned against Verlander because he finished the inning with a strikeout. So 1 earned, 1 unearned. And Justin leaves on the wrong side of a 2-1 game. Two pitches popped up. Yuli Gurriel, who stayed in the game after pinch hitting, gives it a look, but it's into the crowd. Ahmed has struck out and grounded out. Swing and a foul tip caught by McCann, and that's strikeout number 1, out number 2 for Hector Rondon. Cheer on the Astros in the loudest and most energetic part of the ballpark during every Friday night home game. The Strozone, presented by Texas Mahindra dealers. Fans with a May 11th Strozone ticket receive an exclusive Garrett Cole Cold Train t-shirt. Visit Astros.com/Strozone now to purchase your tickets.
Pinch hitting for Yoshihisa Hirano, number 16.
Pinch hitting for Hirano will be Chris Owings. Owings will bat here with 2 outs and nobody on. Rondon at 96 puts a strike on the outside corner. Final line for Verlander: 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. Had it not been for National League rules, he may have gone out for another inning, but limited to 6 innings today as he was pinch hit for. Verlander quite often goes over 100 pitches, and today he was at 92 when he left the game. Two and 1 the count to the pinch hitter Owings.
He's only thrown less than 92 pitches in 1 game this year, and it was the opening day start on the 29th of March against Texas. Went 6 innings in that game also and threw 90 pitches.
2-2 the count. Owings came on as a pinch hitter in last night's game. Drew a walk, and he also started game 1, and he had the only hit against Garrett Cole. Stays alive at 2-2. Well, it's the Astros offense job now to at least tie the game or take the lead. Get Verlander off the hook. Dustin in 12 regular season starts with the Astros is 9-0 coming into today. If this game ends 2-1, Roberto Ortiz will have a rather large spotlight on him for that call of obstruction at third base. There's the difference in this game.
And I'm not familiar enough with protest rules or anything like that. I'm not sure if there's a real opportunity for A.J. Hinch to put it under protest.
It's a judgment.
Yeah.
You can't really protest that.
That's what yeah, so there you go.
It's a judgment call. Unfortunately, it was a bad judgment by a young umpire. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Rondon gets 2 strikeouts in the inning and a 1-2-3-7. We head to the 8th, still 2-1.
W fan WTX on Twitter to show us, and you could win a VIP experience. West Texas, May is your chance to show your spirit, so tweet now and win big.
Eighth inning baseball. Astros looking come back in this 2-1 game, and they'll face a new pitcher, Archie Bradley.
The always energetic bearded wonder, Archie Bradley. Fastball around 95 miles an hour, curveball and a slider. That slider comes in there firm at 87 miles an hour.
For some reason, Jose Altuve was late coming out of the dugout. He wasn't even in the on-deck circle when Bradley was on the mound having finished his warm-ups. And the ball had been thrown around the infield. But here's Tuve to lead things off.
And I'm giving updates on the pitcher. Let's go, Tuve.
Altuve with a triple in 3 at-bats. First hit on his birthday since 2014. And he takes a called strike. Typically, Bradley gets the toughest part of the lineup. We saw him pitch the 6th and 7th in yesterday's game, getting Springer, Altuve, and Correa in order in the 7th. This is the edge. It's 1-1. After Altuve tripled, he was left on third base. Correa was hit by a pitch, but a strikeout and double play ended that threat. Altuve now down to the count 1-2. It was Jose's first triple of the year. And the Astros' third. The other two were off the bat of Derek Fisher. 2-2 the count. Last night, Bradley got Altuve to ground out to short. This time he grounds one to third. High throw by Descalso. Nice adjustment by Goldschmidt. Altuve retired for the first out of the 8th. One out, that'll bring up Carlos Correa. Bradley stayed in the dugout after the game last night. After he appeared in that 6th and 7th inning, he was just a spectator for a while, and then he was ejected.
Yeah, he wasn't happy about that check swing on Peralta.
Peralta was called out on a swing that Bradley and others in the Diamondbacks dugout thought was a check swing on a 3-2 pitch. Bradley voiced his disapproval louder than others and was ejected by the third base umpire, Dan Iasanya. 3 batters later, the Diamondbacks would walk it off. So Bradley, the only one not able to celebrate the walk-off. It's 1-1 to Correa. Astros scoring 1 in the second on an Alex Bregman home run. Diamondbacks getting 2 in the bottom half of the 6th inning on a triple by A.J. Pollock and an obstruction call. There's a ball sent into right field. Souza, though, drifts back, and he makes the play on the edge of the warning track for out number 2. Originally, as that play was happening, I said Bregman interfered with the runner. Technically, it's an obstruction call when it's on the defensive player. Interference is when a runner interferes with a fielder. He did, in the mind of the home plate umpire who was covering third base, Roberto Ortiz, he did impede the progress of the runner Pollock, but on replay we saw that it was quite the opposite. It was Pollock reaching out to initiate the contact as Reddick bats with 2 outs and the base is empty. Two and 1 the count. Reddick go for 3 today. Josh just 1 for 10 so far in this series. Outside ball 3, 3-1. Bregman waits on deck. Ball 4. Bradley walks Reddick. 2-out base runner. And that'll bring up the guy who has driven in the only run of the game for Houston, Alex Bregman.
Power play of the game is presented by TXU Energy. The only run on the board for the Houston Astros is off the bat of Alex Bregman, who got a fastball up and away and powered it into that swimming pool area here in Arizona. Hey, Breg with another opportunity here to do some damage and hopefully get the Astros to tie this thing up, if not put them ahead.
Chops one foul. Bregman 1 for 3 with that home run. Astros winning the first game of the series 8-0. Diamondbacks came back to win last night 4-3. The Astros tied it up in this inning, the 8th of last night's game, and now down 2-1 in the 8th today. Two teams with the best ERAs in baseball, and they are living up to that in this series. Last couple of games as Descalso makes the play to first. Bregman retired for out number 3. We head to the bottom half of the 8th, still 2-1.
Thanks for following. Thanks for voting. We asked today which team will win the National League pennant. You guys seem to think it's going to be these Diamondbacks with 47%. Dodgers coming in second with 20. Oh, actually, there's a lot of write-ins. Oh, my. Didn't get a chance to look through this, guys.
Close votes. Almost half the people think Arizona is the team to beat in the National League. New pitcher for the Astros in this 2-1 game as we head to the bottom half of the 8th is Will Harris.
Cut fastball from Will Harris. He has that cut fastball and a pretty good curveball in 11 1/3 innings. He's got 11 punch outs, 19 straight scoreless road appearances. Got roughed up back at home by the New York Yankees, going at 2/3 of an inning, giving up 3 runs.
Hard hit ground ball, base hit off the bat of David Peralta. Reddick gets over there to cut it off. And Peralta, leadoff runner in the bottom of the 8th.
Seen Peralta get to that pitch down and in relatively easily in this series. That was a cut fastball down and in, just drops ahead and rakes it past Yuli.
I'll bring up Daniel Descalso. Descalso has not been retired in this game. A single, a double, a walk. He would come in to score on the triple by A.J. Pollock. Julia mentioned the write-in candidates got 21% of the vote. Most of those write-in votes went to the Chicago Cubs. There's a called strike to Descalso. It's 0-1. Cubs play Sunday Night Baseball tonight in St. Louis. Everything else on the schedule a day game, which is typical. Usually just one night game on a Sunday. Crazy game at Yankee Stadium today.
Yeah.
Cleveland, after being no hit for 7 innings, scored 4 in the 8th and ended up losing that game.
Yeah, which is odd with that Cleveland Indians bullpen.
They were up 4-0 heading to the bottom of the 8th, and there you see the score. The Yankees came back with 3 in the 8th and 4 in the 9th. One and two. In the 9th, Neil Walker doubled to tie the game, and then Gleyber Torres, the rookie, hit a 3-run jack to win it. Here it's 2-1. Astros pitching allowing just 6 runs so far in the 3-game series. Splitting the first 2 games and trailing by a run here in the 8th. Harris misses up high. It's 3-2. Diamondbacks bullpen, the best ERA in baseball. Brad Boxberger, their closer, warming up. He's 10 for 10 in saves and ended up picking up the win in last night's game with a shutout top half of the 9th before they walked it off. On the ground towards Altuve. The runner was on the move. Altuve has only the play to first. Peralta moves into scoring position with 1 out. A.J. Hinch coming out of the dugout. That'll be it for Will Harris as Paul Goldschmidt is due up. Will faces a couple of batters here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. And he will lead the game. We'll tell you about the new Astros reliever after this.
Floppy hat presented by Houston Methodist. For information and tickets, visit astros.com/promotions.
Well, Will Harris was in there to face the left-handed hitters, David Peralta and Daniel Descalso. He allowed 1 base hit and got a ground out on Descalso, and now with the righties due up, the sidearmer Joe Smith comes into the game.
Did a good job against Paul Goldschmidt the other day, getting in on the hands of Goldschmidt as he popped out.
Well, that was a good appearance for Joe last night. He was able to get these 2 guys that are due up right here, Goldschmidt and Pollock, back to back, a pop up and a strikeout. Starts off Goldschmidt with a pitch upstairs for a ball, 1-0. He's able to keep runners on second and third with 1 out. as Colin McHugh left the game and Smith came on to keep it a 3-1 game at that point. Here he's trying to keep this game at 2-1. Gets Goldschmidt to chase the slider. It's 1-1. Goldschmidt 0 for 3 in this game, 1 for 24 on the homestand. Broken bat towards Correa. Carlos makes the play, getting Goldschmidt. The barrel went all the way out, close to where Carlos threw that ground ball from. As he retrieves the barrel. That was a bat in half.
That's what Joe, when he's going good, has that good arm side run, getting in the kitchen as some of these right-handed hitters. That was a pretty good example of it on our Mattress Firm Supermo as he gets in there. Just tears that barrel in half.
So here's A.J. Pollock. He's the difference in this game. He tripled in a run and scored on the same play as he was obstructed, is the ruling, by Alex Bregman after he slid into third and a ball got away on the throw from the outfield. This time he delivers a little soft fly ball in the left field for a base hit. Scoring will be Peralta, and it's a 3-1 game on the RBI by Pollock. Now the throw gets away and Yuli recovers it in a hurry. Pollock will be out at second base. That took a great kick back to Yuli, but the run scores, and the Diamondbacks will take a 2-run lead into the 9th inning. Pollock with his 29th RBI of the year, 3-1. To you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Arctic. Overbuilt, not overpriced. George Springer and the Astros looking for some offense in this game. The Astros scored a run in the second inning on the solo home run by Alex Bregman. Now down 2 after that run scored in the 8th. Tack-on run for the Diamondbacks. And they will go to their closer, Brad Boxberger.
Did a good job this season as closer for these Arizona Diamondbacks. 15 games he's appeared. He's 10 for 10 in those saves opportunities. 17 punch outs. He's not going to light up the radar gun by any means. Averaging right around 91 miles an hour with that fastball. Backs it up with a changeup and a slider. The slider comes in at 87. Pitched on Cinco de Mayo against these Astros. Went an inning and had a punch out in 12 pitches.
It'll be Brian McCann, Marwin Gonzalez, Yuli Gurriel, the first 3 due up for the Astros. If any of those reach base, it'll be the pitcher spot in the order. And the first pitch to Brian McCann misses for ball 1. 3 on the right side. That's pretty typical against McCann. Marte not quite as far out in the outfield as a lot of second basemen are. And a called strike. It's 1-1. Changeup misses outside, 2-1. Jose Altuve 1 for 4 on his birthday, hoping to get a shot here in the 9th inning. Astros will need to get 6 men to the plate to get Altuve up there. And it's 3-1.
I'll pick you a cookie right now if you're Brian McCann.
Boxberger has walked 7 in his 14 innings of work. McCann saw the fastball for a strike at 3-1. Fouled off the next fastball, 3-2.
There's got to be some late movement on that pitch from Boxberger because we've seen some late swings. Maybe just the slightest little hint of a cutter on that fastball.
Outside, ball 4. McCann draws a walk. That means the Astros will bring the tying run to the plate. Difference in this game on the obstruction call we saw earlier with Alex Bregman. The act of a fielder who, while not in possession of the ball and not in the act of fielding the ball, impedes the progress of any runner. When Bregman was in the act of fielding the ball, he was in the runner's way, but that's allowed. And then as soon as the ball went by him, he started heading towards where the baseball was. Pollock makes contact, and they call obstruction on Bregman. That scored the second run of the game. And right now, puts Justin Verlander on the hook unless the Astros can tie this one or take the lead. Verlander coming in perfect in the regular season as an Astro. Marwin Gonzalez bats with a 1-0 count. No pinch runner for McCann on first. You have to have the possibility of a pinch hitter 2 batters from now. And AJ knows the big run is the one at the plate now. 2-0 the count, and Mike Butcher's going to come out and talk to his closer, Brad Boxberger.
Try and rein him back in before he gives the Astros another base runner.
Eight walks for Boxberger in 14 innings, and he's behind 2-0 on Marwin. Even though he's 10 for 10, he has had some base runners on base during this stretch. 11 hits and 7 walks in those 14 innings. Not quite as locked down as we've seen from a guy like Edwin Diaz of the Mariners. There's a strike. It's 2-1. Marwin's lone hit in his career against Boxberger is a home run. Out away, the count evens 2 apiece. Slice the other way. The choices for A.J. Hinch, if they were going to run for McCann, are either Max Stassi or Jake Rizzo. If you use Jake as a pinch runner, that forces your hand to use Stassi as a pinch hitter. He may rather see Jake get a crack at Brad Boxberger as a pinch hitter. We'll see how it plays out. called third strike. Marwin does not like that call. Roberto Ortiz calls him out on a pitch that was away and maybe down.
I have a feeling this is going to be well off the plate and down.
Oh, man.
That's terrible.
Roberto Ortiz has not been a friend to the Astros today. Here's Yuli Gurriel. Ortiz is the one that called the obstruction earlier, and that's a tough call on Marwin. Yuli swings and misses, or fouls it at the plate, rather. Infield hit for Yuli as a pinch hitter his last time up. Stayed in the game playing first base. One the count. Yuli 1 for 2, facing Boxberger in his career.
Just takes one, a mistake. Yuli's done a good job of barreling up baseballs here in recent days.
One and two. It is Stassi on deck to hit for the pitcher, Joe Smith.
Got quick on that changeup.
Into right field, shallow, on comes Souza. He's going to play it on a hop. Astros have the tying runs aboard in the 9th inning. Yuli Gurriel 2 for 2 in this game as he drops one into right field for a hit.
Just off the end of the bat. There's that late little movement on the pitches coming out of Boxberger's hands, but Yuli fighting to just sneak that in front of Souza Jr. out there in right field does. And in doing so, brings that go-ahead run to the plate.
Max Stassi will pinch it. Stassi hitting for Joe Smith, looking for his first pinch hit of his career. We saw Yuli get his first earlier in this game. Slicing foul down the right field side. Stassi down to the count 0-1. Astros looking for a little 9th inning rally. Brad Peacock, Ken Giles warming up. Peacock will be in there if the game is tied. Giles will come in there if the game is in the Astros' favor heading to the bottom of the 9th. Oh, 2. McCann on second. Yuli on first. Yuli's a tying run. Stassi down to the count 0-2. Got him on 3 pitches.
Had a couple of fastballs in that AB to hit. Missed him.
And it'll be up to George Springer. Springer gets one more shot to keep his hitting streak alive. He has played 15 games against the Diamondbacks. He has a hit in all 15. 4 of those were home runs. But he's 0 for 4 today. Has faced Boxberger once in his career. Boxberger struck him out. Strike 1. 0-2. Diamondbacks have not lost a series this season. 9-0-1 in their first 10. They're trying to take 2 out of 3 after losing the opener 8-0. George lays off 1-2. Foul tip. Caught by Avila, and that'll do it. Boxberger allows a couple of base runners in the ninth, but gets through it. He is now 11 for 11 in saves this year. And for the first time in his Astros career, Justin Verlander takes the loss in a regular season game. As the Astros lose 3-1, Diamondbacks take 2 out of 3 in this weekend series. Final score today, 3-1. We'll have more, including the postgame show, right around the corner.